Welcome to Beyond Tradition. We talk about the nitty-gritty of entrepreneurship and the uncomfortable topics, hard topics that others don't really get into as much.
Yeah.
This is Therese,
Hi.
business partner, friend, if you
Yep.
don't know.
Best friend. She's stuck with me. It is what it is.
And each episode we're kind of building on the one before.
Yes.
So definitely key if you're just tuning in.
Welcome. We're happy you're here.
Happy. But definitely watch from the beginning.
Yeah.
And we also have resources for you. So as we're going, we're learning more. We're adding homework, things for you guys to do. Oh, almost did it.
I'm counting it as a touch.
It.
You touched it.
Fun game that we play because we both talk with our hands tremendously. Is that I'm going to hit this mic, and I think I'm still winning. We were really good last episode.
Yeah, we didn't at all last. So this is I don't know what our totals are. That's for our listeners to figure out. And then, again, there'll be a prize at the end of the year for whoever knows first.
Anything new? Checking in?
Checking in. Well, exciting things. Again, if you've listened before, I have 2 books out. Working on my 3rd one, but a huge accomplishment is that this lady right here, Shelby, son of a gun. Yep. All right.
For you.
Shelby right here is my narrator for this book. So it's out. It's an audiobook. Go check it out if you don't like to read, which is, I guess, a thing for people. People like audiobooks. So here you are. And then you can listen to Shelby's voice read you this soothing tale of prosperity and how to build a financial mindset. And really, take a hold of your finances.
I really loved it. There were so many good messages throughout it. And I will say for neurodivergent or spicy or people like us.
Yep.
There's a little hack where if you have a hard time focusing while you're reading, you can read and listen to it at the same time. And it allows you to kind of stay focused and at least digest some of the information. Because I have a habit of putting something in my ear and I'm listening, but I'm not digesting.
I gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
Or learning. So
yeah. I feel like it depends on what it is.
Fair point.
So
yeah.
Some topics are more interesting than others.
Yeah.
What about you? Anything new?
Same old. We are working through an addition on our home.
Oh yeah, how's that going?
Yeah, so got stem walls poured, concrete.
Whoop, whoop.
I know. So framing next, and we should be dried in within the next couple of weeks, which I'm super stoked about.
Oh yeah.
We're literally adding our original house, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, built in the 70s, all original when we bought it.
Ooh, I bet that was real cute.
Just under 1,100 square feet. And it's just
I love the 70s.
Yeah, it's just us 3, but working from home. And with a 12-year-old, almost 13-year-old son.
And 2 puppies.
4.
Oh my gosh, that's right. I forgot about the other 2. All right, yeah, I forgot.
Yeah,
got
we
a
need
whole house
more room.
Yes.
So we're adding approximately, I think it's 1,100 square feet, but I'm so stoked because I'm going to have my office, which can function as a second living room.
Nice.
But my son gets a bigger bedroom. My dogs will have a room.
That's nice.
Built in a dog room.
No, it's good. So they have their own space and you can lock them in there.
When I'm not wrecking my house anymore.
Yeah.
And then I get a new primary suite bedroom.
Okay.
Still making the decision on what I built in I called it like a Zen cardio suite. If you've seen some new hotels are doing it, where you've got like your bike, your really calm space to do kind of workouts in. But now I'm debating is how much workout space do I want and how much of like a reading nook.
Yeah. That's a tough decision for me. I would rather have a reading nook.
Right.
But working out is important for your health. So yes.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard.
I love that. But that's probably where I'm going to spend most of my time in that house.
Oh,
to be quite honest. Because where's mom? She's in her room.
Yeah, exactly. Leave her alone.
She's in timeout. It's quiet.
She's in timeout. Yeah, she needed a minute. Leave her be.
So yeah,
for sure.
I'm stoked. So stoked about that. And then I'll get to move back home eventually. Because right now, I'm not staying there because I will not live through renovations anymore. That's a hard boundary I had to set.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You have to really love your partner to make it through living in a renovated house. Some couples can do it. I mean,
I did it.
Yeah.
I will say,
it's something.
first 2 homes we had together. We didn't flip the first one. We did a couple of like bathroom updates. Well, we renovated both bathrooms in the kitchen. But that wasn't too big of a deal because it was just us 2. The second house we took from a 2-1 to a 3-2. And my husband, love him. He's so handy. He can do it all.
Yeah.
5 years later.
Gotcha.
So,
sorry.
So I said that when we bought this one, I knew it was going to be a project. And I said, hey, you got 2 years. And then if it's not done, I'm hiring all this out.
Good.
Well, 2 years in, it still wasn't done. 3 years in, I'm trying to hire people out, and was also hitting kind of a wall in that aspect too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then finally said, I cannot live like this with the half functioning house and stuff not finished. And I was out. A lot of people took that as me leaving Trevor, and that was not it at all. I totally said, like, I'm moving out of this house.
Because it's chaos. It's hard to live in when things are half renovated.
Yeah,
and you guys, your business is growing and you're busy. He doesn't have time to do it all.
He doesn't have time. It wasn't fair.
Or even to project manage somebody else coming to do it, because that's a
I'm
job
kind
in and of itself. Yeah, I bet.
The project managing.
Somebody has to.
He helps too, yes. Yeah. But finally, we're getting there. So super, super excited. But
that is exciting.
Yeah. He said, well, if you're going, I'm going. I said, well, I didn't say that you couldn't go. I just said, I cannot live in this chaos any longer.
He was just like, wait a minute. He's like, you can't leave me here.
Right. One of the best decisions I have made for my mental health, honestly.
Good.
So, we're getting there, man. So this last episode, we talked about breaking down business finances, your P&L, your revenue, income, COGS, all the expenses. This time, no touching.
It just keeps moving, and it's going to agitate me. Exactly.
This one, we're going to do common financial mistakes to avoid. And you made a great point. This is a big thing that causes problems in relationships between business partners. Yeah. All of the above.
Yes. So I've had to mediate some business partners, not spouses, thankfully. I try not to get in the middle of that, because
that's its own beast.
Yeah. That's for marriage counseling. But for business partners, sometimes it's easier when someone else kind of takes everybody off the ledge and just kind of lays out facts. Like, I'll just lay out facts of the business. Like, I'm not giving my opinion.
Right.
Like, they still have to. But this is where you're at. And you're telling me you want to be here.
Yes.
And these are the steps to get there. You get to decide if you want to do them or if you don't.
And the cool part too is if somebody needs something like that, you're available with your consulting.
Yeah, 100%. Woo! 2. All right, today's the day. It's because you're holding the iPad. Put it down. No, just kidding. Put it down.
So we'll talk about lack of communication, ignoring red flags, failure to plan, which means planning to fail, as we all know.
Yes. And again.
Yeah.
Yes.
You got to plan. But let's talk about the lack of communication. Again, partner, spouse, significant other, entrepreneur, business partner. Lack of communication. Not good.
No.
Never good.
Nope. We've all I think had moments of it. Some couples survive it, some couples don't. Some business partners survive it, some business partners don't. I've known business partners that just literally could not come to agreements. Like, they couldn't one of them couldn't step down, and they literally dissolved their business and went in separate directions. And it's definitely one of those things. I think clear communication. It kind of goes to the planning. If you're with your partner and you start this business together, you have a plan in mind. You have a 1-year goal, a 3-year goal, a 5-year goal, 10-year goal, even, just so you stay consistent. And so when things get crazy and you have to pivot. One of my favorite words, lots of pivoting, but you're still pivoting in the direction of your goals.
And it's a combined effort.
Yes, exactly. And so,
yeah,
again, I have a course on this.
You do.
Yeah, budgeting and goal setting and planning for small businesses so they can just stay on track.
I think the main thing too is, I don't want to call it a level of intimacy, but to a degree, you have to be business partner, spouse, whatever it is. There has to be the ability to have the open and honest conversations.
100%.
And I know that's huge because you have to address money, and money causes a lot of anxiety for people.
For sure. 100%.
Where you are, what decisions are you making? Where are we going?
And some people don't want their spouse, who may not be in their business, they feel like they're holding them accountable. And, and I know entrepreneurs where they don't like their significant other questioning about money or how things are going. And at the end of the day,
that's not fair.
Well, especially if your business is the main household provider of income, I feel like it's something that needs to be discussed so everybody understands why maybe you'd have to put in longer hours at the office, or if you had to pick up weekend work, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So again, communication is one of those things that I feel like the more you talk about it, and again, your partner or your spouse is your best friend, they're going to want what's best for you. And if they don't, then
let's talk about that.
That's a different road you need to go. Yeah, that's a different conversation you need to have. But at the end of the day, your partner should be supporting you 100%. And so
I can't say that as an entrepreneur that I want to come home and be inundated with, where are we? What's going on?
No. Yeah. I mean, it's not a daily thing unless you want to come work in the office. That's a different thing. And then you get to be a part of the team.
Right.
But yeah, I don't want to discuss it over dinner every night.
No, but there definitely needs to be. And that's something that we've learned because open, honest, transparent. Trevor and I have been in couples therapy for a year at least now. And this is our second or third time in therapy, but we've been together 19 years now.
I can't believe we've been married for 19 years.
It's unreal.
Congratulations. It's huge.
I will say, though, there's two components to this. One, you have to ask. You have to be open and honest. But two, you have to give them space to be ready for it too. So there needs to be hey, I'd like to go over this.
Even if you set it up as a monthly thing, like the third Thursday of every month, we're going to sit down for lunch, it doesn't, or for dinner, or even
breakfast.
Cool breakfast, exactly, at any point, and just to have an idea of what's going on. If you're interested, again, going back, I always give the disclaimer, some spouses are not interested, and that's totally fine. You know what I mean?
Have the yearly, I think that was kind of what we discussed.
Yeah, exactly.
Have a yearly health
just to have
meeting.
An idea of, that the company's doing well and that. But other than that, of spouses that do want to be involved, we're here to empower you and hopefully give you knowledge to understand how a business runs and the right questions to ask. And to not feel like you're in the wrong for asking them. Ask the questions.
And again,
ask the questions.
Ask the questions.
Because there's no reason that there shouldn't be. That's I think a couple episodes ago we talked about you own a couple businesses. Your husband's a part of all of them, but really your real estate business, it's all you.
Yes.
He doesn't do anything for it.
No.
Okay, I lied. He
two for you.
He's helped put out signs before, which is great.
Yes.
But for the most part, he's not calling people, he's not setting up bookings, he's not doing any of this stuff.
No.
But if he asked you about it,
I'm going to tell him
everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it's not going to be, you're not going to take offense to it. You're not going to get upset about it. You're not going to be like, this isn't any of your business.
Yeah.
Again, you're married, your partner's your best friends.
Yeah.
So
I think,
but we run across couples.
There's not that transparency there.
Yeah. And we've met plenty where they get shut down if they ask questions.
Yeah.
And they are made, I guess, they feel a certain way after asking questions, like they're not allowed to, I guess is the best way I can put it. And it shouldn't be like that. It should be, again,
we're going to always advocate.
Yeah.
For everyone.
Yeah. Man, woman, it doesn't matter. You should be able to ask questions. This is your partner. This is your life.
This is your financial security.
Exactly.
This is your future.
Exactly. So
yeah, at least
again, communication is huge, and it's one of those things. Don't be afraid to ask the questions. And if you don't know the questions, DM us.
Right.
You know, just give us your situation and we'll help. You know what I mean? Well, again, I feel like between the two of us, we've lived 7 lives. So it's one of those. I feel like we have enough trial and error, and we're always going to have trial and error. I learn something new every day, but
yeah, I'll never claim to be an expert in anything, but I will say that what we've done
we have
so
enough
far,
knowledge in certain things, but never an expert. Good luck being an expert in anything.
And enough to know, like, oh, I don't know this answer, but go this way, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or if we don't know it, I feel like we have one heck of a network where we could reach out to multiple people, and provide a stable answer.
Absolutely. So, so solution. Communication issues. Solution would be set up regular financial check-ins, which we talked about.
100%.
Again, this goes personal and business.
Yep.
Weekly, monthly, at a minimum yearly if you don't want to have anything to do with it.
Yep.
Even if one, because typically, like, that's a normal dynamic, is one partner is taking the lead on finances as a whole.
Yeah, that seems to be the case.
Yeah.
I've only met a handful of couples where they sit every month and they review their budget together, and they really, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But usually there's one that kind of manages it and it's like, nope, you can't buy anything more on Amazon.
Oh, I can't say that we're very good with budgets still, but I manage all of our money. So I will say, like, dude, we got to slow down here, or we got to slow down here. And I kind of have to check myself.
Yeah, of course.
Again, there's like holding yourself accountable.
100%. You can't hold someone else accountable and then do whatever you want. It goes like both ways.
Like that purse I was eyeing yesterday, my laptop that I want, my laptop holder.
I mean, everybody needs a laptop holder, so.
I don't need it right now, but I will by the end of the year, I think. So,
hey, I mean,
yes, that's a part of the holding myself accountable thing. Like, and we'll wait on that. But yeah, definitely both partners have visibility on the financial health of the business, visibility on the financial health of your personal stuff too.
Right.
You can actually use, it says we've got tools or software for tracking, but we've talked about QuickBooks and Wave and stuff, but being able to understand those
for sure.
We went over in the last episode, and that will help with these financial check-ins.
And I'm sure eventually we're going to take one of those and dive deep into it even more. You know what I mean? And really break it down for the people that really want
nitty.
Yeah, the nitty to really understand, so they can go look through QuickBooks and understand what's going on.
And the other part is like open dialogue about purchases. So like, you are all going to have your own level of comfortability with large purchases. I, to be quite honest, would blow a gasket if I found out Trevor went to the dealership and bought a new truck without consulting me.
I mean, I feel like that's, understandable. I can't.
Whether we can afford it or not.
Yeah, I don't think you go and buy. Yeah, that's a life-changing purchase. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think. Yeah.
No surprises. I think that's kind of the key.
Yeah. Something like that. No, exactly.
When you're financially tied to someone, though, like that, again, I don't think there's a huge emphasis in some people's minds on how their decision making affects the people around them.
Well, honestly, it's just not really understanding it, or just not knowing. Hopefully, unless they're a monster and they just don't care.
They might not care.
Hopefully that's not the case. If that's your partner, I mean, I maybe do a little reevaluations, but that's totally up to you at your discretion. But yes, I think it's one of those things that I don't think people realize when you're legally bound to someone, that everything you do affects them as well, financially. Yeah,
for sure.
So,
okay. Ignoring red flags. Red flag number 1.
Love red flags.
Is what I just said.
Yes.
The surprising, the no communication, the no open. This is where we're at. This is what we need. And I did bring up an example last episode where I talked about a couple that I was very, very, very close with. And again, the open communication about the health of the business wasn't there.
Yeah. Yes.
And I think that could have solved a lot of issues. But
well, yeah, just again, everybody wants to feel safe and secure. And so as a business owner, and a partner, I don't know why you wouldn't want to provide that for your significant other.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Sometimes I am pulling to get in here to look so that he,
Yeah.
Get in here. This is important. You need to know. I guess he has an insane amount of trust in me.
No, and that's honestly, that's what it should be.
It's nice.
That's what it should be. You know what I mean? Because he knows at the end of the day, you're going to do everything you can for the best for you and him, for your whole family, and for all of your futures.
Right.
So it's not, you know what I mean? And he knows, yeah, you're an honest person, whether he wants to hear it or not.
Right.
So it's great.
That's true. You're going to get the truth out of me.
Whether it hurts your feelings or not, you got to hear it. But the truth is always better, even if it hurts.
Yeah.
So my favorite saying.
So yeah, red flags in business.
Yeah. Yep.
Inconsistent cash flow.
Yeah.
Which you don't know unless you're tracking.
Yep.
Mounting debt.
Yeah.
Credit cards can get you in trouble.
They can, for sure.
How do I know that? Experience.
Yep. I think
one of the lives I lived.
Yeah. Exactly. I feel like we've all lived that life where we just didn't really understand.
Yeah.
How significant it was.
Yeah.
To rack up credit card debt.
I will say, and again, this was mentioned in a previous episode. You were like, I'm a risk taker. I'm a risk taker too. We came from nothing.
Yeah.
So the only way that we could get ahead, because we're paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
Until, it hit me last week. We were paycheck to paycheck literally 7.5 years ago, 8 years ago.
Crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So when I say you need to take risks with that, it benefited us because when we remodeled the house into the 3-2, I didn't have a line of credit at that point. I didn't have a huge amount of savings. We could do things as we could.
Yeah.
But we did have access to cards. And so something that Trevor and I kind of sat down with is, I looked at the house and I said, this is what we bought it for. This is what we owe on it. This is the value now. This is going to be the value if we remodel it to this extent and sell it. So this is going to be our profit afterwards. If we need to put $20,000, $25,000 on a card to get this done in the next 6 months, then do it. And he did not like that at first.
Understandable.
Fair.
Understandable.
Risky.
Risky.
You have to be able to float it too. You can't you have to
But you mapped it out too.
I did.
Again, we talked about this in the last episode, planning. You planned it out. You didn't just say, you know what, we're just going to do this. I want this done, so we're just going to get it done.
Right.
It was a plan of action, and you had all the steps
there.
And you laid out exactly what you were going to do. So.
Yeah. And that we got it done. We got it done in time. We were able to sell it. Again, I think net was 6 figures. We paid that off, still 6 figures. That's what started us, got us to move.
Definitely.
So it's one of those things where I think when you're starting out, you have to have the plan. You have to use, but I have used other people's money to get ahead. 24/7. And now we're doing it on a bigger scale, which is kind of, we have a cushion and we don't really have to do it as much. But I know that if I want to get a building, I am not about to drop $2 million of capital on that.
No.
So the other people's money now has increased, and that is its own thing. But
yes, especially in this town, trying to find a commercial building is just absolutely insane.
Yes. So but that's something to pay attention to.
Oh,
if
for sure.
Credit cards are going up. You're not able to pay them off every month. You got a problem.
Yeah.
You have a problem.
Yep.
Declining
unless
profit
you have a game plan of 6 months, you know what I mean? Like you're taking this on.
Yes.
And then your game plan is to get it paid off within 6 months. That's fine.
Right.
As long as you have a plan.
Yes.
So
declining profit margins, which you don't know unless you track.
Yep. It all goes back to tracking. Tracking, planning,
Yeah.
budgeting.
Looking at that P&L to
Yep.
calculate
Gotta
your profit
understand what's
margin.
going on.
And you can investigate if your costs have gone up in that profit margin. Is
Yeah.
it costs that's gone up? Is it salaries, cost of goods?
Yeah.
Is it your pricing? Because I know, especially with the pandemic, we had such unreal costs inflation. It happened so fast.
Well, yeah.
And I was trying to tell, it was like the price of copper went up 50%.
Freaking ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah.
What do you want me to do? Like, I
You're
can't.
like, we're going back to plastic. Sorry, everybody. You're like, you wanted clean pipes? Nope, sorry.
No,
Plastic for
yeah.
you.
Yeah. So it was just crazy. And I had to calculate that and explain that and the amount of times yeah. Yes, but you have to look at that.
Yep.
High turnover or employee dissatisfaction. Now, this is once you get a little bit bigger, obviously, and you have employees.
Yeah. Management is a whole thing in of itself.
Yeah.
It's I encourage anybody to read some leadership books and really understand human behavior. And I think that always will help you become a better leader.
Yes.
And if you're not if you're not naturally one,
right,
that's fine. You can train yourself to become one for sure.
I think
so.
My business degree, I say it was one of the biggest mistakes financially that I made.
Oh, you don't like that piece of paper?
I don't like that piece of paper. It literally did nothing for me.
Yes, it did. So much.
The one beneficial thing is I had to take a leadership class.
Oh, yeah.
And in that class, I learned a lot. Simon Sinek? Simon, he's one of my favorites. He talks about leadership.
I'm so bad with names. I'd have to see the book or see his face.
Yeah, and Brené Brown, she's another one that's really big. But talking about how to lead, and a leader is not this authoritarian
No, that's old school.
So old school.
It's old school, and I think you're not unless you want to run your company that way. You're more than welcome to run it.
Do what I say, not as I do.
Yeah. Oof. Good luck. Good luck keeping people. Good luck.
Yeah.
I think, again, it goes to communication. If you want to be a great leader, you need to communicate.
Yeah.
You need to show people the way.
Yeah.
So
I just had a conversation with my new construction lead yesterday about it because we're trying to train him up and coach him. I said you have to understand and learn how to communicate in such a way that it is stern, but you're not being disrespectful.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're still talking to people.
They're humans.
Yeah. You're in construction. You've seen some guys go off the rails. You're yelling at people, and you're just kind of when I see it happen, I'm just that's not motivating.
No.
That's not going to make anybody want to work, or it might, if it triggers someone, but it's not
anymore. And I'll say with the younger generations too, that does not work.
No.
A lot of our workforce are guys under the age of 28. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
They're not and I'm not upset about that. I can say that authoritarian type of leadership or management style I never liked it. Now, did I understand that my brain is wired to not work for someone? No, I didn't understand that at the time. I just knew that I did not like being told what to do, and somebody like that did not have my respect, and I was ready to get the heck out of there.
Yeah.
So, that's a big thing that we kind of prioritize in our company, and we're still learning and growing and trying to get better about it too.
It's a constant, we've taught, we've said a million times, and we're gonna keep saying it. It's constantly learning. I learn something new every single day. My big thing with employees, I gave you the rules, the handbooks, the policies, the procedures. I expect you to respect them,
right,
and to do what it says.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And if you don't want to, that's fine. My company's not the place for you to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I have no hard feelings if I'm a little bit too strict.
Yeah.
But it's always in a respectful way. I will never, talk down to someone. I'll never make someone feel any sort of way. It's just no, this is what we agreed to. I'm holding my end of the deal. You need to hold yours.
Yes.
I hold everybody accountable,
and that's
for themselves.
The accountability piece has been missing in our business, to be honest. I like to come from a place where I expect everyone has our best interests in mind and is going to do what they should
I
be
used
doing.
to feel that way
Right.
a long, long time ago. And
Right.
then at the end of the day, it's unfortunately not like that.
Not
You
within-
probably have 1 or 2 people.
I have 3, I
Okay,
think.
good. So you have a handful. When I had the bigger construction business, I had about 6 of
They'll
whatever.
do what you ask. Yes.
Yeah, 6 of them where they were just never complained and just understood it, but they liked the structure, because they knew what was expected.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, I wasn't expecting anything more.
Right. That's it.
Nothing more,
Just
but nothing less.
Right.
Just
yes,
the standard. And so
I know. I just actually had the conversation with my leaders and I said, you guys have been with us the longest. Since almost our beginning. Like I've got a couple of guys that have been with us 4 out of the 6 years.
That's
right?
awesome.
So,
that's great.
They know our culture. They know our ethos. They know what we expect and out of our guys. But I said, you are now the leaders in this company.
Yeah, everyone's looking to you.
Yes.
100%.
So if they are not doing things the way that you know they need to be done, address it. And that does not mean, what the hell are you doing? Blah, blah,
no,
blah, blah,
exactly.
blah.
Talk to them, say, hey,
hey.
That's not, it's not company standard. Let me show you the way.
Right.
That's it.
And if they don't want to listen and respect you, they can leave.
Yeah. Or they bring it to you.
Yeah. And I did say that too. I said, if you've asked more than once, it needs to come to me then.
Yeah.
Copy me on a text, copy me and Trevor on an email.
100%.
But you guys have to start doing that. Because that accountability piece for those employees is just huge for right now. But to be honest, we've been really lucky just because we prioritize humans and not the bottom line. I obviously want to be profitable, but I'm very big on treating my guys like humans. And I expect them, because we go above and beyond for them. The expectation is that when you're there, you work. You get a work-life balance. I don't have you on call. I don't have you working on the weekends, which is very rare. We take holidays off. We shut down. We go on fishing charters with them.
Yeah.
And my point to them is like, I'm not treating you like most of these companies who just see you as a cog in the wheel.
Yeah.
You're human. I've helped them
and
pay
working Saturdays, Sundays, going on calls at
night. On calls at night. Right.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't do that to you. So when you're here, you work.
Yep.
Don't milk the clock. Don't treat me like that guy over there that's just treating you like a cog in the wheel.
Yeah.
When you're here, work. That's all I'm asking.
100%.
Stop milking the clock. Stop taking 10 smoke breaks in between your jobs. Stop. Please be efficient.
Stop stopping at the gas station every hour.
Yes, but I will say that our employee satisfaction rate has been amazing. We've had 2 guys that really were not a great fit for our culture, but we knew that almost immediately coming in, because
that's good though. At least you recognized it. So when problems happened, you could be like, this just isn't working out.
Yeah. We're big on everyone digs. I know you've probably dealt with it too, where there's that whole like, I know all of this and I've been in the trade this many years. I don't need to be in a ditch digging.
I'm always like, if I'm in the ditch digging, you're in the ditch with me digging.
Right.
I'm like, and I used to say, I'm like, if I have to come out there and dig this ditch, I don't need you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm like,
we had it recently and Trev goes, you want me to do it for you then? Because if that's the case.
Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just leave. Walk home. You know, call an Uber, get out of here, because I don't. Yeah, I don't.
It's tough.
It is tough, and I guess it's egos. I don't know for me. But again, as owners of the business, we're going to do whatever we need to get the job done. So I think that there's the difference between an owner and an employee, because an employee's there just for a paycheck. Right. You know, so.
Right. Yeah. That's a big thing for us. So I would say that employee dissatisfaction obviously is going to be a red flag. We like to aim to have a positive work environment.
Yeah, for sure.
Guys to be happy, taken care of. If that's not the case, obviously red flag. Look into it.
Yeah, 100%.
Why should we? Why should we address them as spouses?
Why should we?
Partner?
Yeah. Well, if you're a partner.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, communication is key. Again, I think we just talked about this earlier in the episode. It's just one of those.
It can snowball.
It can snowball. And again, I always, the few clients that I work with that are spouses, I always try to remind them, like, don't joke about certain things.
That's a fair point.
Because you joke about it long enough that, someone might think it's a reality. So you respect each other. You understand that you're both doing a job and you're both there to grow your company and do what's best for your family. And so, yeah, joking around with certain things is great. Other things, not so much. Basically, like telling somebody that they don't do anything all day.
Right.
Yeah.
Working from home.
Yes. So
how do we know that?
Yeah. I've been through it. You've been through it. So it's one of those, and then, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is difficult because yesterday was an admin day for me. And I try to make Mondays admin days because coming off the weekend, I don't want to jump into appointments all day long. That's a luxury. Luxury, but I've also made that just like, I'm not going to book myself on a Monday because 1, I hate them. 2, I need to catch up and kind of set the tone for the rest of the week, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
But it was a big admin day. So what does that mean for me? That literally means I'm tied to my computer all day long. Yesterday I was on my computer, I think from 9, 10 a.m. and I stopped and walked the dogs. I stopped and ate, right? I took a little 5-minute shower. But
I'm always on my computer.
Yeah. So I didn't get off the computer until 10:30 last night.
Yeah. That's a long day.
It's a long day. I was tired. My head hurt. Okay.
Yeah. Understandable.
Talking to banks, taking care of just a bunch of random stupid stuff that you have to do.
Yep.
But again, you don't feel very productive because you're not producing this like thing at the end of the day. Like, look what I got done.
Right.
So, and sitting on a couch does look like, or sitting at an office all day does look like nothing.
When you're in construction, construction, because, I was outside. I just worked a 12-hour day. I was out there, exactly, putting pipe in the ground. And it's like, okay, and?
Come figure this shit out,
Yeah,
please.
be like, let's switch for the day. I would love to go run an excavator all day long.
And just zone out.
Yeah, exactly. I would love to be out in the field doing these things, but someone's got to manage the back end of it.
Yeah.
So if it's not you, it has to be me.
Right. Now, I will say, so Trevor does say that he did nothing. What are you doing? Nothing. And a lot of times, a part of that too is I don't list off everything that I'm doing for the day or what I'm working on because it's going to overwhelm him. Like,
you should just do it though. Just start rattle out the list. You know what I mean? Right? And then he'll be like, he'll stop.
Yeah, he'll stop saying it. But
he'll stop asking at some point and be like, no, I'm good. Right? Like, you just do you.
He came home and he was eating and he was like, oh, this is part of you doing nothing all day. And I was like, yeah, I just do nothing. And he goes, bro, I'm joking. You're taking this so serious. And I'm like, listen.
Again, it's jokes now.
It's jokes now, right?
But 4 or 5 years from now,
what is it?
If because and it's toxic. Yeah, it's a toxic culture, and if he jokes around the wrong people, and then
they might not understand.
They may not understand it, or they might agree with him and really drive that point home. And you know what I mean? And you don't. He obviously knows you do a lot for the business, but
he appreciates that.
Yeah.
He has said it wouldn't run. He could not do it without me, which is fair.
Yeah.
I could not do it without him. So we're at least in agreement on that. But definitely when we're talking about stuff like that, having these uncomfortable conversations, like I can tell you that it does not feel good. I don't necessarily look forward to therapy at all because
you want to go talk about all of your feelings.
God, no, I hate my feelings, but like, listen, it does not feel good. It's uncomfortable, and you sometimes stutter or you don't say things the right way. And you may, I don't like to use the word trigger all the time, but you may trigger them into a response where you're like, therapy calls it flooding. And then everything shuts down and then you have to revisit. Like, these things are not going to go hunky-dory. I would love to say and be a couple that has these conversations calmly with all the emotional intelligence and respect. And to be honest, I have to work through that because I'm uncomfortable being super Hey, baby, this is blah,
Ew,
blah, blah.
don't
You know, like,
don't.
I can't. I love that for people who can do it. I can't do it.
I'm not an endearment person, so for
Um,
me, the second I think we talked about this in one of the very first ep
yeah,
like, app, do not come at me like that.
yeah. Can you imagine if somebody sat down and was like, "Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I really want
I
you to
would think they
feel
were
safe.
sarcastic.
Yeah, I
I'd be
really want you to feel
like,
safe
"You wanna be throat
and
punched
you
right
should
now?"
be heard. And why would I want you to be feeling
Oh
that
my
way?
gosh.
Please bring me your negative emotions." Like, the thought of saying that, like, intellectually, I know that's what should be being
Yes,
said,
for sure.
right? We should.
Do people do that? I'd like to think that there's couples
There's
out
couples
there
that probably do that.
yeah, that
Mhm.
they're emotionally in tune with one another and they feel comfortable talking about
Yeah. That's a
everything.
level of vulnerability I haven't got to quite yet. We can have the conversations.
Yeah, I
Um,
haven't gotten there either, no worries.
yeah. But to be honest, I feel uncomfortable even thinking about talking like that, and that's again, that is wiring,
Yeah.
that's programming here.
Yes.
That doesn't mean that you can't have those conversations and they end up being productive, though.
I agree. I mean,
Yeah.
you always have to check in with your
Oh,
spouse or your partner's feelings about things,
yeah,
you know? I mean,
for sure.
if it I think if it becomes, um, not so much asking those types of questions, it's
Mhm,
more so having the confidence and security to be able to say, "Hey, that makes me uncomfortable. I don't like it."
mhm.
You know what I mean? I think there's two different approaches to it where
Right.
like if you don't like something, you can say it
Yeah.
to Trev and him hear it, maybe not be able to do anything about it, but
Yeah,
at least
yeah,
hear you. You know
yeah.
what I mean? And vice
Yeah,
versa. Like if he doesn't like something, he can say, "Hey, I don't like that." And you're
yeah.
like, "Okay."
Okay, cool.
Like
I think one of the keys to
yeah.
that, though, is you're gonna be uncomfortable and you're gonna have negative feelings while you're going through all of this. One, you need to be able to regulate yourself
Yeah,
to either have the ability to say, like, "Hey, I need a minute on this. Like, I need to calm down for a second,"
for
and then
sure.
come back. You have to come back, though, and you have to
Yeah, you can't
communicate.
just blow it off because then it's just that just
Yeah.
starts the stack.
Uh-huh.
That just starts the stack. And then if you don't ever come back and
Talk about it.
talk about it or at least secure that
Yeah.
person, make them feel safe in those feelings,
Yeah.
then you're definitely
Like, "Hey,
like, I hear you.
I'm getting
Yeah.
this is right here. I've got to take a minute. I've got to take a day. Let us talk
Yeah.
about this tomorrow or this
Sleeping on
weekend."
stuff is great. I
Yes.
encourage everybody just sleep on it.
I get
Before you make a big decision, sleep on it and just see how you feel in the morning.
I get so irritated with myself because I'll be super pissed about something and I'll go to bed and the next morning I'm
Yep.
not pissed at all and
Yep.
I'm like, "I should still be mad about this,"
Yep.
and I'm not.
Yes. Same.
So definitely,
Same.
yeah, we can't ignore those red flags. We have
Yeah.
to address the red
Yep.
flags. It doesn't always have to be immediately. I'm learning that it can take time to work through
Yeah, for
problems.
sure. It
That
sucks. I like
sucks.
resolution quick, you know?
Yeah,
As I've talked over you 17 times
that's
already through,
fine.
you know,
That's
but
fine.
I'm a little bit more fast paced, which
Yeah, same.
can drive people crazy, but
I'm the pusher. I want to talk about it,
yeah.
finalize it, solution,
I just
done.
want solutions. I don't I like problem solving obviously
Same.
in consulting world, you know, but
Yeah.
I don't want yeah, I want to find solutions for problems, not sit on things and
Hmm.
contemplate them forever before making a decision.
No, to
I
be
can't handle
honest,
indecisiveness.
as a real estate agent, that's probably one of the
Indecisiveness.
biggest things
Yeah.
that on gets under my skin to a degree where, like, if I've decided I'm going to buy a house, if I've decided I'm going to buy a car, I figure out what I'm looking for, what I'm okay with, what I'm not okay with. Like, I literally have 5 or 6 non-negotiables. This is what I want. This is my right?
Yeah.
And then when I find something that fits that fits my list, done.
Yeah.
Write the contract, let's go. I can never understand those that are like, "Well, I just don't know about this. Well, I just don't know about that. Well," and I'm like, that's where I think we're very similar. It's
Yes.
like, this is where we're going. This is what we want.
We're
This is
just
what we're
well, direct. It's being
yeah.
direct and knowing what we like and what we dislike. And I think
Yeah.
and probably having to make so many decisions throughout our lives that
It's
it's just
yeah.
I don't have time to like I don't look at houses unless I'm going to go purchase a house. You know what I mean? Or cars, jewelry, bags, any of it. Like I'm not, but I'm not a browser. I never used to walk the mall and just go looking.
I can't either. I cannot handle that.
I used to only go to the mall with my friends to eat. I was like, I need a cinnamon roll. I need a pretzel. And I need some pizza. Are we good?
Listen, my best friend, she is my soul person.
Yeah.
Her shopping makes me absolutely batshit crazy because she will go and just go to look and try
look
on.
At what?
She'll try on literally 10 things in the store, decide on 2, then buy nothing. And I'm like, girl,
I wouldn't be able to go. You're a better friend than me. I would be like, oh, I don't feel good.
Yeah, no.
I can't go today.
I love her to death, but I'm like, you look amazing. Just buy it.
No, I have.
Or she'll buy it and then return it. I'm not kidding. So yeah, those people are out there. That's fine.
I can't. Yeah, I think maybe it's just the way we think. I don't know. We'll have to take a poll. You know what I mean?
Is it personal?
Personal? Is it, or is it
personality?
Entrepreneur thing?
Character? I don't know.
I don't know.
That's me though.
Yeah, I've never just tried on clothing to try it on. Like I would go, like if I needed jeans, I'm going to get jeans.
Right.
You know what I mean? Obviously try them on to make sure they fit right.
Now
so
that
they're
I
not
can
too tight. But
shop online, I figure out what I like.
Dude.
Amazon that to me. I do not step foot in a store ever.
I think the last time I stepped foot in a store, actually, no, I didn't. I was a dress for a wedding and
online.
Yep, I did it online.
I ordered one for a wedding. Yeah.
I think that's the only time I used to like to go shopping is like to go try on like gowns for weddings or like galas or something, you know, like a charity events. Like that's fun because it's like the experience of it.
Yes.
But if you just said to me, hey, like you want to just go shopping? I'd be like, no.
I don't even like going into Home Goods anymore or like TJ Maxx. Listen, walking into a Ross will overwhelm me to such an extent that I'm like, this is not fun. I do not like want to sit and dig through. No,
I don't want to do any of that. I've been looking for 2 chairs for my little like library.
I'm about to upgrade these so that I can like.
But exactly. So like I've been looking for 2 comfortable chairs to like sit, read in. Like it'll fill the space up because right now it's just like a bookshelf on a wall. So I'll go run through. There's a Home Goods close by. I'll run through it.
Just look.
Yeah, like once a month just to see because they have, they line up all their chairs. But literally I walk the chairs and then I'm out.
Right.
And even that, I'm just like, there's so much crap. Not crap.
It's not crap. Some of it's really beautiful.
There's so much stuff jammed. I guess I'm what is it? A minimalist. You've seen my house.
I'm like there's nothing in it person. I am
not.
Yeah.
I don't want anything. Yeah, in my space.
Yep.
So anyway, let's get back to this.
We went off the rails.
We went off the rails, but again, I guess we'll wrap it up with
failure to plan for
failure to plan. We've talked about it. You got to plan for contingencies. You got to have an emergency fund. And if you don't, you need to figure it out. Even if you put $10 a week in a savings account, put $10 a week in a savings account. You got to start somewhere.
Yep.
So God forbid there's ever a problem. And it starts building. It starts building something. And then by the end of the year, you can go see a financial advisor and invest that money. And then that money will grow every month. And it's the little things. It's the only way you can start building
something.
Yeah. Security, financial security.
And my biggest tip or something that please don't just set up a savings account with your bank that is earning 0.1%. Like
you might have to because some of the high yield savings, you have to have a certain amount to put into them.
There's so many that are $100 now to get started.
Some people, I agree. But if they don't have it,
right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But I agree. If you can look for high yield savings, there's so many out there.
4s and 5s.
Yeah. And then your money's making money every month. That's the goal. That's the goal here in life. Exactly. And
again, for a business, what's really great is if you can, and what I've started doing is once you know your operating costs, your cash flow, you keep what you need in your operating account, then put the rest into a high yield savings.
Yep.
So
perfect.
Then you've got that money building. That's just, again, it was free to open.
Yeah.
It's sitting in there earning 5%. I think we've already earned a couple grand on what's
I bet. Yeah, for sure.
So
I tell businesses 3 to 6 months of an emergency fund to float your company. 3 months for sure.
Right.
And then 6 months, God forbid something happens.
Right. We're talking contingencies.
Yeah. There's a fuel shortage
health
and
issues.
you can't. Yeah.
Guess who can speak on that?
Yeah, true. You were out for a while.
And if it were Trevor,
you would be working the field and the office. It would have been
oh my gosh,
something.
I can't even imagine. We would do it. We always
of
figure
course.
it out. With you're an entrepreneur, everything is I joke, I say this, it pisses people off because figure outable is not a word. But
yeah, I was gonna say what?
Everything is figure outable. And I literally have that everywhere. Everything is figure outable.
Yes.
Figure it out.
There's rarely a problem that there's not a solution to. You may not like the solution.
It may not be super comfy.
Yeah, it may not be a solution that you want, but sometimes you have to do what's needed, not what you want. So
yeah. So I mean, we can't predict what the economy is gonna do. People try, but sometimes shit falls out. It is what it is.
100%.
Not planning for these things to happen, or not planning in the event something like that could happen, because everything happens.
Everything happens. History repeats itself. I mean, just look at everything. There's ups and downs.
Yeah.
No matter what. Any industry, every industry.
Yeah.
You know?
Examples of contingencies to have. And something that I've done more recently too is having the liquid savings, because again, those high yield savings you can pull money out immediately.
Yep. Whenever
it's not tied up.
Not tied up at all.
You're earning 5%, you can have your money in a day.
Yep.
Easy peasy.
Exactly.
The other part of that, line of credit.
Yeah. I mean, I would have some sort of line of credit. Don't touch it, but at least keep it. And then God forbid, or if once
you're at that point, but I will say there's quite a few that you can establish fairly recent or fairly early on in the career, or oh my gosh, I just whacked it. I think that's 3 or 4. But you can establish a line of credit early on. And the point is, and what my banker even told me too, you should do that before you need it. Don't wait until you need it.
When you need it, they're not going to give it to you.
The P&L is not going to be great enough or the balance sheet.
Because the bank's going to go, we can't do that right now. From your financial standpoint is not acceptable to our terms.
Exactly.
So yeah, 100%.
And if it's not a line of credit, obviously credit cards need to be utilized in a very safe, be careful with those. But I will say, if you're paycheck to paycheck right now, and this is what we did too, if you're paycheck to paycheck and you're building your savings, if something major happens, have a credit card.
Yeah.
I mean, they're there, and it sucks to have to use them.
Yes.
But it is another person's, it's functioning like a savings account for you.
Yeah.
Risky, have to be careful, have to have a plan to pay it off.
Yes.
But it is there so that you don't go into financial ruin. Right?
Yep. Exactly.
You're not able to buy.
It's basically giving yourself a loan.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's something to be utilized as needed, if needed, in
Yeah.
That would be like a super, super. I mean, I gave a good example of it earlier.
Yeah, for sure.
They can be used.
They can be, for sure.
Responsibly is the word I was looking for.
Responsibly.
They can be used responsibly with a plan.
Yes, always with a plan.
Not just
We're going to say plan 1,000 times.
We are. Plan, communicate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take care of things. Insurance. Make sure you have the right insurance coverage.
Yeah.
That's something you need to be looking at. I talk to my insurance guy throughout the year as your payroll rises, as your sales rise, your GL needs to be covering.
When did you learn that your insurance goes up when your payroll rises?
I hate that.
How'd you learn?
How did I learn that?
Because I learned the hard way.
I learned that when I got my workers' comp audit.
Yeah, me too. And I was like, I remember the first time I just did it, I was like, I don't know what this bill is. And they're like, well, you hired more employees. Your payroll went up, and so your general liability went up, your workers' comp went up. And I was just like, but I pay for these monthly. So why am I getting a $17,000 bill at the end of the year? And they're like, well, you grew really fast. And I'm just like, that's a you thing. Like, you should have
told me this.
I submit my reports to you.
Oh.
Yes. Quarterly. And you didn't give me any sort of heads up or warning that this was coming. And I was like, well, I remember just kind of laughing. I was like, well, it's like, yeah. It's like, good luck with that.
In a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember when I was in the hospital, we had our work comp audit. And I obviously, it got pushed to the back burner. I didn't respond. Next thing you know, like, I think we had paid $7,500 for the year. And then I got a bill for $7,500. And I was like, stupid.
Yeah.
All because I didn't respond to the audit.
Yes.
Now, I was able to talk them into taking my documents and responding to the audit. Guess what? Still owed $7,000. So
they just did a rough guess for you, and they're like, "Just kidding. You thought you were gonna not pay this?"
Now I don't know.
Oh,
I didn't dig into it enough to really like question it too much. I just paid it. It was whatever. But yeah, that's how I learned.
You don't really
that.
have a choice. It's one of these things. These insurance companies really own, I don't want to say own you, but you know, there's not, and we don't have a huge list of them here.
No, we don't.
So,
the other part of things is personal insurance. We didn't carry personal insurance for a long time. We were on a cash basis with a lot of things, and we could do that because we were healthy. But I will say we took out group insurance, health insurance, saved me from catastrophic bankrupting. Had I gone through what I did last year without it, we would be bankrupt because those bills, my first stay I think was $350,000, second stay was $150,000.
Gosh, that's insane.
It literally was. I mean, health insurance in America is a scam. I'm just gonna say it. It's a scam. It's a racket.
We are not going down that rabbit hole because we're wrapping it up here.
Oh my God.
But we're not.
But yes.
I'm not touching that one with the 10-foot pole.
Definitely have some sort of catastrophic coverage if you're especially have any kind of issues like that. That is something that saved our lives. You can get catastrophic coverage through the state depending on your income. But when you're running a business and you're just starting out, it's definitely worth filling that out and looking because
always look. There's no
Florida,
harm. Yeah. And honestly,
they have a medically needy thing.
There's insurance agents on every corner. Just Google it. Sure. I mean, literally, you drive down the road. I bet there's 6 of them just in this little professional plaza that we're in right now.
Right. And I think the last thing is you need to plan. This is not fun. This is very uncomfortable because you have to think about, and this is something we've had to deal with recently, and I just met with an attorney over it, succession planning.
Oh, that's my favorite. What are you talking about?
Let's talk about dying.
Yeah.
No, but really, you need to be having those conversations. You need to have that in writing. Who goes where and what.
Yep, and 100%. Woo, that's 4.
Man, I'm on a roll.
4,
I'm on a roll.
2.
Yeah. It's not fun.
It's not fun, but it definitely, if you own a business that's growing and you plan, you see a steady future, it's definitely something that you should look into.
Yeah, and talk about what will happen and what do we do if somebody is,
especially if your spouse isn't even a part of your business and God forbid you pass away and now you've dumped all this on their plate and they're going to stand there and be like, what? Exactly. So if you have some sort of game plan, at least lay it out for them. So, or I mean, it really should be it should be something you talk about. But again,
there needs to be a backup plan.
Yep, exactly.
For the not fun stuff.
Yes. So this one was super long.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. I think we hit a lot of points. Hopefully all of it was helpful. Again, if you have questions, comments, concerns, hit us up, DM us.
Yep, we're everywhere.
Yeah, just look around. And then if you liked us, like and subscribe and start following us. And then we'll see you next time.
Awesome.
Bye.